I was a single mom with him, and he was the only thing that I had in the entire world. And so that really that was our bond, is we struggled together and we loved each other, and he even helped me go to events and put nail stickers on chicks for me. And I called him my secret weapon, because when I would show up at an event and he'd sit down next to me, I would have a line suddenly a mile long of girls. And I kind of owe where I am, or where I got to. I actually ended up as a team manager 8 months into my Jamberry journey, which is really cool. And I don't think I'd make it that far without his help. Last year, he was the kind of guy that would take you, just drop everything that he had in the whole world and help you pick up the pieces in your life. And one of his coworkers was going through a very difficult breakup, and so he thought a hike would be in order. And so he took her on to Little Michelle Falls, and to kind of check out the scenes and get her mind off of things. And he jumped down onto a ledge to get a closer look and take a picture, and when he got back up, when he would turn to climb back up, he slipped and he fell 120 feet. He did not survive that fall. My life is always going to be before and after. Before, when Jamberry, and I thought things were hard because things happened in my business and it didn't go the way I wanted it to, and I thought, oh, that's it, forget it, I can't do this is dumb. And then after, when everything is hard, when getting up out of bed is hard, when breathing is hard, when eating is hard, and I still want my business, because that is one thing that I shared with him that they can never take away from me. So when I did, what I did see is bravery, because losing your child brings in a whole lot of fear that you never knew was there before, and it creeps in on all corners of your life, and it steals all of your joy. And I didn't know how to get that back. I did find that joy is one of those things, and this took a long time for me to recognize. Joy is one of those things that it actually can be created by anybody, and it can be shared with everybody, and it ripples across all of humanity, and it always comes back to its creator. Joy is one of those things that everybody needs to be striving to create every single day, especially people like me. I started a movement called Because of Noah, and it really stemmed from Because of Jamberry, because we've all read those stories of amazingness of what people have done with their Jamberry journey, and I wanted to marry those two together and say, okay, well, because of Jamberry and because of Noah, I'm able to do this. I'm able to be a blessing in this person's life, or I'm able to even get out of bed and work my business in the morning, because trust me, folks, that is really hard on some days. So when I did finally decide that it was time for me to go back to my Jamberry business, I had realized that my team had moved on, and they had gone to different things, and it was actually a natural ebb in my business. So it's not like my team just up and ditched me. They did not do that. In fact, a lot of them were supporting me on my Because of Noah journey still, and so they were all very, very supportive in there. It was just one of those natural flows of the business that I'd hit a dry spot, and so trying to get going and not finding traction was one of the hardest things I've ever tried to do in my life. So creating joy and continuing on that, and if I made $15 that month and I was able to buy some coffees for people, that's what I did with my money. And that was just one of those things that allowed me to share my Because of Jamberry and Because of Noah story, and those things helped me find joy in my life. So one of the weird side effects of grief is this weird fog that comes in and it clouds your mind. It makes you very forgetful, and there were a lot of dark days. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything and say that it was super easy, but I did have my team around me, and that was another thing that I found when I was looking for joy, is that my upline, my sidelines, my jam cousins, all these people that I didn't even know beforehand, a lot of them had heard my story or had met at different events, and I see a lot of those familiar faces here today, so thank you guys. But a lot of those people were there cheering me on. Every time I felt like I wanted to fall down and I didn't want to do this anymore, I got so much support from the sea of people at Jamberry. And that is something that I can't put into my pocketbook. In fact, that's the kind of support you cannot buy. That's something that is, I haven't seen it anywhere else. Jamberry is very unique like that. There's a lot of strong women here. We know how to lift each other up. There is a beauty in the sisterhood of Jamberry, for sure. And I'm so, so proud to be a part of this company. So what I wanted to end with was when you're faced with tragedy, those who are closest to you, when you are just staring at your own fate, when you deal with this grief and this loss that's just monumental, those closest around you, your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brothers, your best friends, they are not much use. They are in that epicenter with you. They are in the blast zone, and they are facing their own huge loss. Jam sisters are such a surprising difference. And really, I have to owe it all to you guys. Thank you so much for helping me find joy and bring beauty back into my life where I thought that it was always going to be a hole in my heart. And in truth, some days it probably will feel like that. But I always step back and remember that I belong in the strongest sisterhood that I've ever seen. And like I said, it has been awe-inspiring. I'm so very proud to be a part of this company. I have fallen, of course, from team manager down to consultant to senior consultant, lead consultant, and I am working my way back up. And I know that now it's going to take 10 times longer than it did before, and I'm okay with that. I'm not putting myself on some time restriction. Just because I hit it in 8 months last time doesn't mean that I have to do that again. And so I want to challenge you, when you face these changes in Jamberry and when you face them in your own lives, it's not time to throw in the towel and give up. It's not time to say, oh, forget it, I can't do this anymore, this is done. It's time to double down, find joy. Don't let your fear rob you of your joy. And if you can't find it anywhere, make it. If I can do it, so can you. So I believe that fearlessness is actually something that starts with fear. You're afraid, you get up and you do it anyway. And you keep doing that until you find courage, and your courage carries you throughout every day. And every day you get up and you're brave and you start it all over. And then eventually it just becomes a habit. And that to me is what fearlessness is all about. Thank you.